This is a cooked blue crab. In an ideal situation, every one of them have 2 claws. In this case, this one only has 1. Now, when you look on the underside, this is a male. If it were a female, the triangle here would be more in the back would be more in a triangle shape. Okay, the proper way to clean a blue crab is to start by I take off the claws. That's totally preference. You don't have to. You want to pull this back part off, which you'll discard, and then you want to grab it here. This back part is what we're pulling off. So you want to hold the bottom, usually by the legs here, and pull this off from the back. And this is what will come out. What you see here is, this is the front part of the crab where it eats. These are called the devil's fingers. They're actually lungs. You don't want to eat those. You want to take those off. This is a very full crab. It's just getting close to shedding, so it's pretty full. Now, what you want to do is you want to break it in half. Put the open side up and press inward, then back again. This will break the crab in half. Now, all this is guts. You want to take them out. It's inside parts. You want to, there's little intestines and things. Now, I always take a knife like this and cut away this here. And then clean out any junk that's inside. You can see that this is all guts and this is meat. A little bit of guts still left in there. Now, what you want to do is you want to carefully break this as a section, and you'll get some of the meat here. Now this shell you want to break away, so you don't want to, it's very hard. These little membranes in between, you can take that part. Now we're going to set this to the side, and you can continue to eat this. This part is the biggest leg in the back. So if you kind of take it like this, and you can break it in a sort of like that, and then what you have here is you take this little bit of shell off. Sometimes the meat just comes right off. This little bit of shell, and then you can generally take this whole leg and dip it in the butter and just pull it off. Now when you go to pull the meat off, you want to clamp it with your teeth here, and you want to not all the way, don't bite it out, just clamp it down and pull, because there'll be little tiny membranes that you want to leave behind. And some people like to get every little morsel. I do. Now, generally, the rest of this leg, you might be able to get a little meat out of this section, but I don't even bother with it. So, then you go to the next section, and you can just continue to pull out sections of meat. But remember that in between, there are these little membranes that separate out each leg. So, you can sometimes just pull the legs out and meat will come with it. Sometimes like that, and you have to just pick out the meat in between the membranes. But once you get the legs apart, you get as much meat from there as you can. Then you want to take this part and break it in half. Come down the center, and I see there, and take this out, and then you just kind of split it in half this way. And then again, you carefully go in between the membranes, and you pull out the little slivers of meat. Like so. And that's about all you can get out of that. So we'll put this to the side. I'm going to have some more here. And now you've taken care of one half of the crab. Here you have the other half. You want to take out the little guts and stuff. Now, what I do here is I take the knife, cut that away. There's a little membrane here, or shell actually, and it kind of goes through, so I just kind of cut that away, peel that back. And then this part you can just kind of cut away with a knife. You want to get in there and get that little bit of meat, that's up to you. Some people like to take out all the meat and then rinse it. Most people, after they start eating a lot of crab, this little bit doesn't bother them. They just kind of scrape it away and mostly eat around it. It is a good idea to keep a nice washcloth with you. But here we go again. I'm going to break this like so. And you can see how the chunks of meat come out pretty big. Now, to clean a claw, there are several ways you can do it. What I like to do is take the claw, break it at the center, like so. Now you see this membrane comes out. If that membrane had stayed in, you'd have to be careful when you pull the meat out. So I'm going to bang this with the mallet, just enough to get it cracked. And you can see that the meat is a little different in the claw. And it's a little tougher, and sometimes it just pulls right out. But remember, there are these membranes all through the claw, so you have to make sure you pull them out, or you're going to be chewing on them. They're, you know, the little membranes are kind of soft, and they won't kill you, but they are unpleasant to try to eat. And this one is, the meat is stuck really good because it is so packed with meat. And what crabs do is they grow and they fill up with meat, and then their shells become too small for their size. So they go through a process where they their shell, actually, they shed their shell. And then they, what's left over is a very soft shell, and it ends up hardening back up. And then once the shell is shed, right after, the crab is really thin. The meat is very thin. This is what it looks like when it's really thick. So when you get to the top here, where the little pinchers are, I like to take a knife and just make a score, go in just a little bit. So I cut through, and you can see I've made a little indent, and then I just break it that way. And usually, if it's not so thick, it'll come out in a big piece. Let me show you with this one. Actually, I'll show you with this claw. See how sometimes the meat comes out right with the claw, just like it does on the smaller ones. But this one, you can see the meat came right out, because this one is recently shed its shell, and the new shell has hardened, so the meat is not so tight in the shell. And then if you, plus the shell is a little easier, it's not as tough, and you can just kind of pull that out, and there you have the meat. And if you put your teeth around it, you don't want to chew all the way through, you don't want to bite all the way through, you just want to put your teeth in there, go down halfway, you can feel the membrane, and then when you pull it out of your mouth, you'll get the meat and leave this membrane. So that is the proper way to clean a crab. Again, real quick, like, you want to pull that off. I'm going to take the shell off, pull these little things, grab the devil fingers, take them off. Then you want to break it this way, scrape off the little pieces here, cut that with a knife, cut this with a knife. Remember, you have this top piece here, this shell here, so I take that off. And you can either scrape this, or you can run it under a faucet and rinse it if you like, if it bothers you. And then of course, you just start working each leg apart and get the meat out. And there you have it. It's delicious. Thank you for watching. And I apologize for my eating at the end, but I just can't resist. I love blue crabs. Hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.